WWE, we talked WWE TV last week. Some more WWE TV stuff that is of note. Rumors going on right now. Saturday Night Main Event is going to return in December for a show between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. And Jesse the Body Ventura could possibly be the color commentator for it. I'm looking forward to that. Rumors are that it's going to be at what is I think currently scheduled now as a house show in Orlando. But we're still waiting. Rumors were that was going to come out sooner rather than later. But as of this recording, we are still waiting. But the big news that came out this week, which I never thought I would see the day, I said, like, hallelujah, I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know what the reasoning why you're doing it, but I'm going to take it. And that is Monday Night Raw is moving to 2 hours for the remainder of the year before they go into Netflix. And once they hit Netflix, that's another story. We'll talk about that when it gets to it. WWE probably doesn't even know the full details as of right now, or at least they're not publicizing them. But as of right now, following Bad Blood, Monday Night Raw is from 8 to 10 o'clock. I think this is great. I cannot wait for this. And the reason I can't wait for this is because it's going to bring me back to the days when I watched Raw from start to finish. There's not going to be any flipping away. And listen, I'm not really a big football fan, so I'm not really worried about moving over to Monday Night Football or doing any of that stuff in the United States. But for the people who are, we know that football runs very, very late. I know that 10 o'clock Eastern time is normally just like halftime, right?
Yeah.
So it's perfect because those people who are wanting to watch both and who are going to flip away from your product either way somewhere in the middle of Raw, they'll have less of a reason to do that. And now Raw being 2 hours, they'll have less of an opportunity to even do it because 2 hours means it's going to be more action-packed. There's going to be less flipping away, especially if the first 30 minutes of a Raw is commercial-free. It's going to be more action-packed. And listen, I was never under the – I'm not over here for charity. I'm not over here, and I never really understood why people are. People are like, oh, well, the roster's so big. You got to give people more time. You got to make matches longer. We have pay-per-views. That's what they're there for. Raw and SmackDown are really just supposed to be these bridge shows to take you to pay-per-views. Pay-per-views are where there's no talking and it's all wrestling. Raw is built on the fact that it's all talking and no wrestling. So it doesn't really affect me that much from a television perspective. And even it doesn't affect me as a going to perspective because of the fact that there is nothing that says if you go to Raw that from 10 to 11 o'clock, they can't still give you that wrestling. Mostly WWE, if you attend events, know that you go there to watch wrestling. And it's not just, hey, I paid for a ticket. I don't want to just hear talking. Well, that's what the half an hour before Raw is for. That's what the half an hour after Raw is for. So you're still, if you go to Raw, you're still going to get Cody Rhodes coming back out or somebody coming back out, giving you a match, giving you like that house show kind of match after the show's over. So you'll still get your wrestling fill if you attend. But it's better this way because of the fact that if you attend Raw, it's 3 hours long, and it's just so segmented. It's so broken up. It's so hard. It's worse, actually, in person than it is on TV because of all that breakup. So here you'll get an action-packed 2-hour show. With the matches will be shorter, and the matches will be less, absolutely. But then when the matches do happen after Raw goes off the air, just for the audience, you'll get a match without a commercial break, straight through, a good, a match with main eventers in it, right? And the same with before Raw hits the air. It'll just be a lot more just succinct. And like I said, I never, Brandon, maybe you say this, you hear this a lot. A lot of people are very worried about giving people their time. And as a fan, I guess I just don't really care. I don't care who the pitchers are for my favorite baseball team who aren't on the team if they're not on the team. Like, listen, this is a what did you do for me lately business. It's a TV show. Like, Seth Rollins should care that he doesn't make Monday Night Raw, but why should I care if he's not on Monday Night Raw if Monday Night Raw is this full and there's lots of stuff to see?
Like, see, here's the thing, dude. Like, I know you're a big proponent of the 2 hours. I don't mind the 2 hours for Raw, but don't get all excited because like you mentioned in the beginning of that, it's only going to be until the end of the year, so you'll get a taste for a couple months, and then when you're starting to really get in that groove, you're going to like it again, and then it's going to go to 3 hours. But here's the thing: the move to Netflix is going to be good because the format's going to be way different because you're not up against like network requirements and regulations. Netflix, you can take they're going to have more freedom to like have these matches, and then like they can do what like other sports do, like AEW does it too, where they do like a side by side where you have like you have a commercial while the match is on. Like, there's going to be opportunities to do different things. So that's what I'm okay with it either way for the 2 hours for now. But here's what could happen. What could happen is they could get such great positive feedback about the 2 hours. Don't be surprised if that could stay. Because
I wonder how we even got to 2 hours, because I can't imagine USA Network saying we want less of your content. You know what I mean? I think we even heard from like the Nick Khans of the world in the past. He wishes Raw could be 5 hours, like, because more time, more money, more advertising. So I really don't understand who really called for it to be less. WWE, I understand if they called for it to be less. Maybe they did because it's the end of the deal and they're not getting as much money at the back end of the deal, so they're not really cared about delivering as much product. I don't see why USA. Right? It's an hour that essentially is going to be tougher. Maybe USA, and maybe this is where I could see USA calling for it. USA realizes come January that Monday Night Raw is leaving their network. So they've got to start planning and preparing for people to have stuff on Monday night on the USA Network to watch, to be appealing to. And they're not going to get those people watching that at 11 o'clock at night or midnight or later. They got to start getting some of those shows to catch your eyeballs, if you're a wrestling fan, to catch your eyeballs and to be interested in at 10 o'clock. You're more apt to watch The Apprentice or The Applicant or whatever the hell that game show is they're trying to advertise after at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock than you are at 11 o'clock. They always be advertising these shows that they're putting out at like 11:05, and I'm sorry, it might be interested, it might be cool, but I can't really give it the time of day because it's 11 o'clock at night and I gotta go. It's simple like that, right? So maybe that's the idea. They're trying to maybe put some shows on there that they're testing the water with that could be the new staples of their Monday night. But either way, I just look at it like this. We're seeing this with pay-per-views, right? We're seeing this with pay-per-views. We're seeing SummerSlams without Jey Uso on the card. We're seeing Bash in Berlin with Jey Uso on the card because they're like, we love Jey Uso, it's great. But if his match doesn't warrant being here, we don't need to waste your time by giving him some throwaway match for no reason. We've got enough stuff to fill. So if Monday Night Raw is 2 hours long and Jey Uso doesn't have anything worth being on the show for, we don't have to put him on the show just to be on the show. And for the fans who pay for a ticket, they'll get to see him when the show is over with in a match. But for the television product, we're going to stick to what we've got. What is the most action-packed? What's the most important? What's the most eyeballs on you right now? Don't turn away stuff. And we don't need to just give people time for charity. We don't need to give somebody a segment just to give them a segment so that we don't need to give someone an at-bat just to say we gave them an at-bat, right? We're just trying
here's what I'll say
quality over quantity.
Here's what I'll say. So when we're speaking of programming, in WWE, obviously, switching gears to the NXT side for a moment, I'm really liking the direction of what NXT is doing. Obviously, CW is coming in a few weeks. We know that. So we got USA Network, for the time being. But I love the fact that you got CM Punk, you got Randy Orton coming to the shows coming up. You got Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair coming. I think there was I think there's another wrestler that was going to be there as well. Oh no, CM Punk was going to be there next week.
Yeah, Randy Orton's going to be there when they show up in St. Louis. As of right now, NXT only has 2 dates announced. The first 2 shows outside of the Performance Center, and it seems like rumors are that they'll be probably still being in the Performance Center more times than not. But
so Motor City Machine Guns, are they debuting October 1st? Yes or no?
On CW, I'd like them to. I mean, I think they're a great tag team. But overall, when it comes to, and I love all the TNA kind of people blending in here to NXT. When it comes to the NXT presentation, it's going to be very interesting because, like I just said, the first 2 weeks are in Chicago and St. Louis, but as of right now, I don't foresee that. I think that is kind of a splash, a way to make a splash. And I'm very curious, essentially, are we going to have kind of like some dates sprinkled in, like maybe once, twice a month they're outside of the Performance Center, which is great either way because you got the Performance Center as your staple, which will make it an even hotter ticket than it is now. And then you'll have a chance to make NXT when it's out of the Performance Center to be a hot ticket because it's only going to be once or twice a month that it's out of the Performance Center. So, dipping your toe in the water there, I think is really cool. SmackDown getting a new logo. Did they need that new logo? I don't know if anyone's seen it yet. You'll see it when it comes SmackDown. Do they need a new logo? Are you excited about that? Would you rather have a better set or a new logo? Because as of the one in Seattle for the debut season premiere, it's just your traditional set, but it's a new logo.
Well, I mean, the rumors are about the fist. I mean, bring that back. That'd be cool.
Bring that back. I'll take that over a new logo any day of the week.
Yeah.
But, hey.
The logo's good, though. The Leaf logo. Look, I like it. It
looks kind of like somebody did it. It looks like one of those fan art logos. I'm not going to lie. It just doesn't look like in the utter prestige that I'm used to. But, hey, Very curious to see what it is, but I'm more a fan of bring back sets, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. Bring back sets, and as for Raw moving to Netflix, and if that's going to be more than 2 hours, a lot of people have their thoughts and their theories on it. We'll talk about that, obviously, coming up into the future. But WWE, a lot of stuff in WWE Week on USA. It's been a good week. NXT delivered. NXT's building up towards the future pay-per-view, if you will, on the 1st in Chicago. They're trying. You can tell because they're trying to sell tickets because they haven't had to sell tickets ever for a TV show. So that's why it's loaded up with championship matches. You just wonder, like, you got to kind of deliver after that, right?
Speaking of NXT too, we can't go off the air here without mentioning the debut of Julia. Great. What did you think of that debut?
I think it was really good, and I think that Chelsea Green, it was a good person for her to be there to help out with that debut. Excited going forward to see, and that's another thing too. To finish out on this, Raw being 2 hours means we have 1 hour less of wrestling every week. That means 1 hour more that I have free. So that means 1 hour more I can give to things like NXT. You know what I mean? I'd rather watch 4 hours of Raw and NXT than 3 hours of Raw and then clips of NXT and all that kind of stuff.
I would recommend it. If you're not watching NXT religiously, I've been watching it a little bit more religiously as of recently. And I got to tell you, NXT's putting on a good show.
WWE is a television show. That's what people forget. It's a TV show just like anything else. And just like anything else, the less hours of it, the more that I have to dedicate to other shows, right? If you tell me I got this new show you should watch, it's 7 hours a week, I'm probably not even going to give it a chance, right? But if you tell me I got this new show you should watch, it's 20 minutes on YouTube, I'll give it a chance. And that's essentially how I relate to wrestling, right? I'm going to take somebody to a Monday Night Raw. I'm going to tell them to watch it on TV, and they tell them it's 2 hours a time, and it's more action-packed, less commercials. They're more apt to watch it. If I say it's 3 hours long and you don't know anything about it, the less to give it a chance. That's all I'm saying.